Hi, it's Alaska Granny. It's cold out at Granny Camp. It got down to 34 degrees last night. So this is a great day to try an easy stew recipe. Have you ever had Brunswick stew? I used to always think it was from New Brunswick, but it's from Virginia and somewhere in the South. We used to take a very simple recipe for easy Brunswick stew that we used to make out at hunting camp. So I thought I would show you how we made this super easy stew. Brunswick stew is made with pork, and it's usually shredded and barbecued or smoked. And so we always start with a can of pulled pork from Walmart. It already has some barbecue sauce in it, so it's a good easy start. Then you just have usually lots of vegetables. So I'm at camp, so I have a can of mixed vegetables. If you had some fresh vegetables out of your garden or out of your freezer or even some dehydrated ones, you could use those. But I'm going to use these today. And then generally we would also add a can of sliced potatoes. But today I'm going to make it with some instant mashed potatoes because I feel like eating instant mashed potatoes, and you're still getting the same potato flavor, but in something that I would more enjoy eating today. And then you want to top it off with any more barbecue sauce that you have. I have Sweet Baby Ray's, and it's really good, and so that's the barbecue sauce I'm going to be adding if it needs a little more kick today. So since I'm using my butane stove, which only has one burner, I'm going to cook the mashed potatoes in my insulated container. And this is nice because it closes all up. It's extra insulated. It's stainless steel. It has a rubber gasket that holds everything in it hot and toasty for a while. And then it has a little release valve. When you want to open your insulated container and it has hot ingredients, push the pressure release valve first so that you release the pressure before you open it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm cooking on my butane stove, and the instant potatoes need 2 cups of water, so I already have them in a container measured out for my recipe. If you're doing any kind of camp cooking or emergency cooking and you need to boil water, it's nice to have a tea kettle that goes with your emergency stove. So now I can just turn it on and heat up the water and then continue with my mashed potatoes. My water's boiling. So I'm going to pour the potatoes into my insulated container. Add the 2 cups of water. And stir it together. It's unbelievable how easy these Idahoan mashed potatoes are, and they're good. So now I'm going to put on the lid and set it aside and make the Brunswick stew. So I'm going to open the pulled pork. If you've never tried this before, it's really quite tasty. You can see it has lots of barbecue sauce and lots of big pieces of meat. I'm going to empty that into the pot. Now I have the mixed vegetables, and this has peas, corn, carrots, green beans, and it even includes lima beans, which is an important ingredient in Brunswick stew. So I'm going to open this can, but I'm going to drain the liquid. Because it doesn't need all that extra water. I'm going to add the mixed vegetables. Give it a good stir. I guess this would have been nice with a little bit of onion, but you could always add some like dried minced onion. Now I'm gonna put on the lid, start my stove, and heat it through. Now if you wanted to put all these ingredients together ahead of time, you could put them into a Ziploc bag. You have a shelf meal of your easy Brunswick stew. You could change out the mixed vegetables for the mixed vegetable medley, which includes potatoes, so then you would have even more potatoes. Use the mixed vegetable, use the mashed potato, make it however you like. It's your meal. Whenever I put meals in a bag to go to granny camp, I always include the water because I don't have running water out at granny camp, and then I have the water measured out already so that I can easily make my meal. So if you're making it into a shelf meal and putting it in your pantry, drop a note in the bag that you need to include the water if you're making it with the mashed potatoes or something. You can include the directions right into the bag, however your variation is of what you want to make your meal to be, whatever meal it is. Okay, the Brunswick stew is just about all heated through. I gave it a little taste. It needs some more sauce, so I'm going to add some barbecue sauce. But that's the ingredient that you make it suit your taste, your desires. Oh yeah, my meal is ready to serve. Let's pop open the mashed potatoes. See how this keeps them steaming hot? Let's get a nice big scoop of mashed potatoes. Steam dripped on my plate. A nice scoop of Brunswick stew. Doesn't that look good? Dinner is served. Brunswick stew over mashed potatoes. It's not the most gourmet meal in the world, but it's okay. If every meal was the best, how would you know when one was really delicious? But if you have something to eat, that's okay. It keeps you going. It gets you fed. You get a meal on the table and you can get going and worry about something else. You can always have a better meal another day. But guess what? This is pretty darn good. The pulled pork is actually pretty tasty, and I made a video about it quite a while ago about some meal ideas and things that I've tried with it. So if you haven't tried the pulled pork, go ahead and get one. But just get one if you've never tried it, and take it home and see if you like it. You can make it into sandwiches, you can put it together and make all different kinds of things with it, including Brunswick stew. But if stew isn't your favorite choice, save it and try it for something else. Then if you like it, you can always go back and get more. This is what I needed on a cold day at granny camp. Brr. Well, that's okay. It's part of the adventure. So let us know in the comments below if you have any great ideas on meals you can make out of the foods in your prepper pantry. That way you're using, rotating, and replacing those foods that you can continue to make meals out of food that's still safe to eat. It's still good to eat. You don't want to just buy canned goods and put them away forever. You need to use those foods and rotate them. And if you don't like them anymore, replace them with something you'd rather have instead. I hope you'll like my video, share it with someone else you think might enjoy it, and please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel. It's actually pretty good.